Welcome to the Take It Home podcast, the podcast so bad we really just need to take it home. I am one of your hosts, Doc Simmons. You can find me on all social media at Doc Simmons17. I'm going to give a hot tag off to my partner to introduce himself.
Tag. Yep. The Outlaw Zach Hendricks. Find me on all social media brands at Z Hendricks Brand, or look at Doc and I up at Country or Official for Facebook and Instagram, or Country or Brand for Twitter. I'll pass it off to the monster of the host group.
I am Gunner Wicks. You can find me on all the social medias at Gunner Wicks.
And last but not least, our head official.
I am Perch. You can find me at Perch XLV, # for the Ref Brand, and Waffles Take It Home podcast.
Always Waffles. And we always start the show with our banger of the week. So Perch, let them know.
Banger of the week. This one came in the midst of a jam. There were a few songs going on over the weekend, setting up the ring, getting the night right. And this one came on that just brought back a rush of emotions, and it gave me a good surge of energy. Sometimes you get that song that hits you from a different era of life, but you bring it into where you're at right now, and it hits you double as good. and the song this week that hit me was Face Down by Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
I was there.
G Unit was there to attest. That was it took me a minute, and all of a sudden I just randomly yelled Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. It's like, yep. Took me a while to get it, but I knew it. It just unearthed a lot of great memories that I had growing up. Love that song. Definitely a banger.
Oh yeah, they had their moments. Love them, good guys, and definitely perfect song for the weekend that we had that we will definitely get into later. But yeah, great banger of the week. I got nothing but good things to say about Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Great era. We know you like that era too, Doc, especially the tunes right in there. Well, lots of burnt CDs right in that heyday of music.
Yep. Giant book of CDs.
That was around the time we were starting to drive too, so we were getting the CDs and the cars that we were driving.
Mm-hmm. Perfect time.
I remember my first car. I was super pumped because I had a six disc like rotator in the trunk that like I was like I could play 60 CDs at the same time, like rotate through. It was super awesome.
Oh no, yeah, that was great. Friggin' used to have a Maxima 10 disc changer.
Wow, hey.
I was balling.
That's why you're the heavyweight. Maximum 10 disc heavyweight. All makes sense.
Yeah. I was living the gimmick at like 12.
I like a little
driving at 12.
No, my parents' vehicle, but I probably had like half the CD space.
What kind of music were you listening to at 12? I'm curious.
I mean, this might give away my age, but at 12, it would have been DMX, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z. What else was popular then? A lot of Master P. Linkin Park. I think that was probably when I discovered Linkin Park. So lots of Linkin Park. Those were good years.
I had Linkin Park as well.
Yep. Okay. Well, I guess we can move on from our banger of the week. And we talked about it a little before we got on, but Perch brought it up. But let's talk about what we've been watching this past week.
Oh man, that was good week of wrestling. Started off with a great one on Wednesday night that I watched was AEW. I'm sure you guys saw it too. Good old Blood and Guts. I was excited all day for it. I'm sure all week, but I really got amped for it that day. The classic Wednesday, wake up, go through work and do everything, but excited to see we got a big match tonight. And then we were treated with Moxley in the opener. Moxley and Kingston against Kenny and Nakazawa. That was great, and really enjoyed that match.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing I saw from that episode. I was not feeling good last week, so I think I passed out afterwards, but catching up on it. But that was a good one.
Mm-hmm. No, I really enjoyed, and the blood and guts main event was as much as you could ask for. It was it was a wild, all out brawl. 10 minutes in, I'm like, holy smokes, this is exactly what I had thought it was going to be, and they still delivered even more. Just good action, great story going the whole time. All those guys gave everything. Enough intrigue having a guy like Tully on the outside too, not knowing what he's gonna do. At one point, I think the Shivani's yelling, and Tully's got an official. Just all hell's breaking loose on the outside. And then MJF, at the end, making him surrender. I really enjoyed that. Remember Gunner bringing it up a while back, that Halloween Havoc match where it was that cage with Muda and Sting and
Yep.
Terry Funk and Flair, where didn't that one end up ending with a towel getting thrown in too? Or it was
Yes,
had
it
to be
did.
a give up or a submit. So that intrigue I love. How is this thing gonna end? We're gonna see chaos, but how is this gonna end? And it ended great. MJF threatening Jericho at the top, and they quit. And classic, just like a good bad guy does, still throws him off the top. So love that match. Very fun. Great AEW.
Yeah, can't say enough great things about MJF as a heel. He's really one of their top guys over there.
Also, MJF gets phenomenal color.
Yeah, really jealous. It's a good visual. All right. Got anything else you've been watching, Perch?
I've been doing a lot of the review of the weekend show, so I'll go into that once we get into it. But
Okay.
those are my pleasureful watches right there.
With blood and guts. I feel you. Let's go down the line. Gunner, what have you been watching?
I've been watching that a whole lot. As far as wrestling matches go, don't think I've watched any. But as far as wrestling related things go, I watched that A&E show a little bit where they buy the different items from people for
Right,
the
you're a
WWE
documentary
warehouse.
specialist anyway. I don't expect you to actually watch matches.
Yes, true. Oh, and I watched the WWE the day of the Survivor Series where Undertaker retired. Some behind the scenes stuff. Very intriguing. But as far as actual wrestling goes, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
All right. Zach, what have you been watching this week?
I watched AEW Blood and Guts, Rhea Perch. I was pretty pumped for that match. Thought the right team won. That's the way to establish a faction like that who's like slowly developing. I've been watching a lot of the pure wrestling with Ring of Honor. What else? Dark Side of the Ring. But mostly I've been watching my old matches, like from year one, like my old matches on my YouTube, and like kind of just seeing just critiquing like how I was back then and just figuring out what I need to keep doing to improve. So mostly a lot of old matches. Like today, I watched my first ever match with Joey Avalon, and just that match, and just watching like figuring out like what I still need to do to grow. So more like self video.
All right. Hey, nothing wrong with that because I've been doing a lot of the same this week. I watched an old triple threat between me, Juan, and Zach McGuire. I watched the old singles between me and Zach McGuire. Definitely went back and studied our recent match against Bang Bros to get ready for the no doubt rubber match that will happen. As far as TV, been catching up on New Japan. Like I said, I was sick a little bit last week, so I didn't watch much, but definitely wanted to watch that light heavyweight tag match between Roppongi 3K and Desperado and Kanemaru, which of course was a banger. I'm watching the final night of the tour right now. Looking forward to Yo versus Desperado and Ibushi versus Ospreay, though I at least know the results of one of them. But yeah, actually a pretty light week for me.
The one other thing that I caught just last night was that Booker T documentary. That was great. Forgot all about it. Catching his story was holy smokes. What a great wrestler throughout our entire lifetime. And to know, I remember him briefly with his brother as Harlem Heat, but really remember him predominantly towards the end of WCW when it was a little wonky. But as a kid, I didn't know any better. He was the champion, and he was just always a great top contender. And then when he came over to WWF, it took him a while to finally get, his just due, and they ended up having good matches right in that heyday of Monday Night Raw. I always loved Booker T. Him and Goldust, great combo.
No, I feel you. I always say I was more of a WCW guy, and the times I watched it more was towards the end when a lot of people say it was at its worst, but it held my attention with things of like Booker T being in the heavyweight, always being in the heavyweight picture, and the amount of cruiserweights that they had at that time was just still greater than me than whatever WWE was putting on at the time. Going back and watching it, there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad that I know I just either ignored or didn't pay attention to, but it still held me.
Yeah, and I remember Booker T with the always raising the roof and that vicious scissors kick too.
Yeah,
loved it, and they went into the spinneroonie and kind of the origin of and the respect that had earned.
Yep. Shout out to Booker T. Without you, I don't have a gimmick. So much appreciated. Much appreciated for my career. Okay. Let's go ahead on and just move on and let's talk about our weekend, because I think that's the big thing everybody wants to get off their chests. Let's go to Gunner first.
My weekend was quite amazing. BCW, Bruce City Beatdown, had my match against Chucky finally. The crowd was hot. The match was hot. The victory was hot. It's great. Yes, I had a great time. I think we had a solid match. The crowd was there for like all of it, and I don't know, it just felt really good, and I'm glad I got the victory. And now we're on to round 2 of the BCW heavyweight title tournament.
Do you know who your next opponent is?
It is, I think, the winner of Aesop and
PD from this past weekend, or
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's Aesop goes. Is it? I don't even know. I think Aesop goes against someone. The winner of that moves on to me. Am I right, Zach?
No, it's you and Aesop.
Oh, is it? Well,
yeah. The other matches were to get into the tournament. You and Aesop already qualified. Aesop did his qualifying. If I'm not mistaken, he did his qualifying match the month prior, where he wrestled Tanner Nix, CJ Cole, and Stonehenge. And I think you qualified because you were
because I'm me. That's why.
Yeah, like you just qualified because you meet the qualifications.
Like a riot would have started had you not already been qualified.
You're right. Frank made a smart decision there. So yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to avenging my loss against Aesop from Rise to Honor. Not this last one, but the year before that. He beat me in a kendo stick match. Fun fact, that was the last time I've been pinned in BCW. So I guess now it's time to get revenge.
Ooh, little hot streak over here.
A little bit. It's just like a year or something. No big deal.
You got that Jeff Cobb pin differential, don't you? That plus 25.
Yep.
He's like, I don't get pinned. I do all the pinning.
Shout out to Chucky for eating all those pins.
Especially the one this past weekend.
Yes, especially that one.
All right. Let's stay on the show, and Zach, let's talk about what we did.
Yes, sir. We had we weren't booked, but we definitely did forget what Whiskey Bent and Hellbound have done to us. So when the time was right, Doc, being the greatest heavyweight of all time and the mastermind of the team, came out with a nice little slight distraction, and I made those two big bastards collide heads, and we showed them what we were about, and we just had a nice little brawl.
Shouldn't have hurt him so much because it's nothing up there. But yeah, it was our time to get the jump on them. Whiskey Bitten Hellbound, Max Holiday, James Vincent. They've been acting like this is their yard, like they are running BCW, but the times have changed, boys. It is time for Country Air to step up and show you why we are the best thing that Brew City has.
Yeah, and Brandon Blaze, you want to join? That's fine. It's more heads for pretty sure Doc's not against kicking more heads off.
I really am not. It is a favorite activity of mine. So anybody else you would like to bring onto that team, you can line them up. Heads are flying.
Don't worry, Missa. We haven't forgot about you.
Oh, no. We have not.
4 against 1 don't matter. We're the 2-man Riot Squad.
Yeah. Yeah, Country Boy Shooter Squad.
Yes, sir.
Coming.
Ooh, that's the new shirt idea.
Yeah. So yeah, easy weekend for us. We came, made some noise. Got a match set up for next month. Country Air versus Whiskey Bitten Hellbound. I promise we will finish this. Be ready, boys.
Are they ever? Like,
no, they really aren't. But we can go ahead and pass it off to our head official so we can talk about his weekend.
Yeah, it was a very fun weekend. Started off Friday night, AAW in Chicago on Bourbon Street. And that was Take No Prisoners pay-per-view on Fight TV. And that was a accumulation of all the Alive series building up, and a big feud between Fred Yehai and Mance Warner headlining the show. So going into it was really excited to see how it was going to shape up. First match I ended up getting on the night was we had some Alive tapings, which will come out in the future, I think this Saturday. But the first match I had on the main card was Davey Vaga against ACH. And that's just a couple of guys who I've been able to work with a couple times. Vaga only in tag team matches, and I've really learned a lot from working with him in the tag team scene. Had worked with him in St. Louis, Chicago. So to work with him as a singles, it was nice. We've had a little bit of a rapport. And especially as a ref, to call people's matches, understanding them and how they are inside the ring makes a difference. It really does. And ACH put on a damn good match. It was back and forth and ended via the brain buster.
Yeah. Buster Cole.
Oh, it was beautiful. That's gonna I'll bring that one up later on, but it was fun. The next match was a cool match that I was blessed to do. Leo Rush against Laredo Kid. They've got a little bit of a feud going through a couple different companies over AAA and MLW. That was cool to have their feud come to Chicago for the night. And that was a wild match, just back and forth, and getting me prepared to work more lucha style and fast-paced matches, as well as, all different styles. So was able to learn a lot working that match, and a wild finish to that. A few moves I've never seen in my life. And then the final match was the main event, and that was Fred Yehai who comes in as a ruthless wrestler and using everything he can to brutally attack his opponents. He can wrestle, he can fight, he can do it all. And the champion, Mance Warner, is a hell of a lot more of a fighter than anything. He can wrestle, but he's just a brawler. So every match he's in, he makes you bring the fight. So a motivated Yehai coming into this match was a scary, combustible element.
Hey, hate to interrupt you. Have you seen old Mance Warner matches from like 4 years ago, Perch?
No, my first recollection was the MLW, him and Sammy Callahan, and at that time it was similar to how he is just now. So no, I haven't seen him beforehand.
Okay, I'll have to find something for you.
Oh, good. I'm excited. Again, more into studying the people who we work around to understand where they're coming from. And in that match, it was unbelievable. I'll put up some pictures from it. But yeah, I've never seen an environment or an atmosphere like that before. Fred Yehai brought the fight. and he had Mance within inches of his life. And well, I don't want to ruin the ending. But it was wild, and there'll be pictures.
Yeah, go check it out on Fight TV. I'm pretty sure you can still buy it. And check the replay.
Definitely a banger of a show, worth it.
It's important.
But that was a
referee, Perch.
Yep. It's always a good time and always a wild atmosphere and just unbelievable learning environment every time. And then, yeah, I ended up being a car duty guy too. So I gave some guys a ride to and fro. So classic. Working the whole day, just having fun. And then the next day was Brew City Wrestling at the Elks Lodge. I was so excited. Not knowing what the day was going to have in store, I just knew I was going to be with my brothers and having a damn good time. And that's really what went down. I ended up having the first and the last match. So get all amped up, start, pause,
Yep,
and start back up again. Had the Aesop against Petey Brown match to open it. That was fun. Always fun to be in there with Aesop, the guy who taught me how to run the ropes. So always sentimental. And Petey Brown is fun, dude. Being in the ring with him, he brings a fun level of atmosphere. I know you guys have worked with him a handful of times. I think I maybe once before, but I don't think I've ever had his match. So it was a good one. And then the main event was Tyler and Sean against Dysfunction and Joey Jet Avalon. Being a Wisconsin wrestling fan, fan of Brew City from the Knights, really just where we come from and independent wrestling, these four guys in the match really hit home for me. Sean and Tyler are like two older brothers for us in the business. They've taught us a hell of a lot inside the ring and outside the ring. And Joey Jet and Dysfunction have taught us a hell of a lot inside and outside the ring too, but they've been more of the veteran roles, the guys who Tyler and Sean looked up to. Yeah, like more of uncles. Yep. Yep. And people who we can look up to in the way of, having wrestling family. So being caught right in the middle of all of that was just a whirlwind of emotion. Looking back during it, it's all strictly business and pure working and firing on all cylinders. That was a really fun match, back and forth. I ended up getting taken out of the ring, came back in. Tyler put me on top of the shovel. I took a shovel right to the kazoo. Took me out of the match. One thing leads to another. Jerry comes in trying to get a 1, 2, 3, but I tried to call it off as soon as I could. I called for the bell before he hit 3, or maybe right as. It was a little bit of confusion, but called off the match. DQ. As soon as I came to, I realized that was Joey's shovel. That's it. Called the match. disqualification. Champions are still Tyler and Sean. So I paid my price. I barked, I yelled at it, I told him exactly what happened. I took those titles. Nope, they're not yours. And Dysfunction grabbed me, and Joey kicked my head off.
Yeah, Lil Ross told you. Shouldn't have reversed the decision, Perch.
Shouldn't have reversed that decision. You were right. You were right. I paid for my price. And next thing I know, there's another dead body right next to me, and it was Jerry.
Shout out to Jerry for dying like every other month at Brew City.
It was an honor, and to be in the trenches with him. And then just like Toy Story, like the aliens and the claw machine, Jerry gets plucked and disappears. And a minute later, so do I.
Hey.
And I think I took another something or other, and boy, that took me out.
Oh yeah, and shout out to Jerry for taking the kick in the nuts during the when we were brawling with Whiskey Bitten Hellbound. I kicked him in the nuts accidentally. You know, I'm just trying to cause as much damage as possible, and you were in the way, Jerry.
He does that. He does that.
It was a wild weekend, though. So much fun, guys. Very, very fun wrestling weekend. We get a lot of shows, different towns, different cities, different people we work with. But that notebook remains the same, and it continues to fill up with notes and ideas and stuff that we learned from mistakes made and advice given and earned. So the miles and the wear and tear we put on our body, we make sure that we make it all worth it at the end of the day.
The show. All right, yeah. Fun weekend all around. Thanks for all the fans for coming out. Y'all really made it. Energy was crazy at the Brew City show. I'm sure energy was crazy for those watching the AAW show as well. But let's move to our next segment, a very fun one. I posed a question to the boys because this is one of those things that really only gets over if you have commentary, and it really shows the importance of, everybody involved in the wrestling show. I asked the boys, what are the names of your signature moves and how did you come up with them? I think first we're going to pass it to the poet, the most linguistic member of the group when it comes to this, Gunner. Why don't you tell us the names of your moves and how you came up with them?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. So I have two signature / finishing moves. The first is the Chokeslam, and I call it the Chokeslam because it's always been called the Chokeslam. And the second is a spear, and that is called the spear for the same reason. It has always been the spear. Sometimes the gore, but usually a spear.
I hope I edit in the Tim and Eric Awesome Show fireworks at this moment. Very good, Gunner.
Thank you. It's a very brilliant question, deserved a very brilliant answer, so I hope I delivered.
It's like you more than delivered. You far exceeded expectations. You are a monument to this podcast.
Thank you. I've actually been thinking about changing the names of them. Maybe calling the Chokeslam Gunner's Chokeslam and the spear Gunner's Spear, just to signify that it's my own. It's my own kind of special thing.
Yeah, originality is important.
Yep. Do it my own special way. Put a little Gunner spice on it,
Yeah.
So,
little Salt Bay.
We'll let that cook in the idea pot a little longer. Shout out to Salt Bay.
Yeah. Love them. All right. Zach, why don't you tell us the names of your signature moves and how you came up with them?
Yeah, so my old finisher is the DVD off my knee, neck breaker, whatever you want to call it. I called it a spinal tap. At the time, I was getting custom gear made, and the knee I used had on my knee pad was a skull, and coming down the kick pad was a spinal cord. So I wanted to come up with something clever to play off my gear. And I was hanging out with Rico Della Vega. Shout out to him. He's killing it, doing AAW and all the other shows. Me and Rico were hanging out at WPW. And he just randomly said the spine. He's like, why don't you just call it the Spinal Tap? And I was like, wow, that's a really good name. Like, just plays off the gear, plays off like someone's getting their spine tapped when I slam my knee in the back of your neck. So there's that. And my new finisher, I like to call it the warrant, because as an outlaw, I don't ever want to get a warrant, but I like to hand them out to people.
All right.
And we go over like I can do one of our tag moves, and you could do the other one.
Okay.
For Doc and I's finisher, the power slam double stop, we call it Air Buddies because of the Disney movies. Because Doc and I like to take flight, and we're buddies.
Yeah. Okay, and I can go from there. So our double shining wizard is called Six Shot Lullaby, and that is a Simpsons reference to, I can't remember the character's name, but Papa Simpson. It's his favorite Western actor. And when they're like going through his stuff, it pans over a lunchbox. And I guess he had a song at some point called Six Shot Lullaby. So that's where I got the idea from that from. Because my partner is a very big Simpsons fan, if you haven't figured that out yet.
Yes, sir.
As far as individual moves, I'm a big JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan, and his work is basically a giant love story to music and pop culture. So I decided to name most of my moves in the same way. So I have a Fireman's Carry Face Buster that I call the Greenhouse Effect. The reason for that is because it's a move that I first saw from the Hurricane Shane Helms, who is a big Green Lantern fan. And one of my favorite mixtapes is by Asher Roth, and it was called The Greenhouse Effect, with references to the Green Lantern. So that's how I came up with that one. My pile driver, Rikishi driver, I call Greetings from Shaolin. That is a more Wu-Tang Kung Fu flick reference. If you haven't noticed, my logo is basically the Wu-Tang symbol. So basically the rest of my moves are references to them or Kung Fu flicks. So that's how I got Greetings from Shaolin. I was also a big Bam Bam Bigelow fan, and his pile driver was called Greetings from Ashbury Park. So I just combined the two for Greetings from Shaolin.
What was the old one called?
Old one is called License to Ill, because it is my favorite Beastie Boys album. And it's a cutthroat neckbreaker setup, which just always reminds me of like a professional hitman killer position. How I had them set up. So I went with the License to Ill from Beastie Boys. And then my current finisher, the spin kick or black mass, is called Liquid Sword because it is a Jism reference. Love that album. If you haven't heard that album, you are missing out. It is one of the best solo albums by any member of the Wu-Tang Clan. So that is why that's my finisher. So last but not least, we'll pass it off to our head referee. What is your signature move or your dream signature move, and what would you name it or its dream name?
Well, I'd say my favorite of those ones, definitely Liquid Swords. that was my intro into Wu-Tang, was that CD from a coworker, and by far my favorite. So when I see you hit that Liquid Swords, it gets me every time as a fan. But I would say for the one move in particular. Now this is one. There's maybe one or two, but mine comes from as a fan of wrestling, move that I love to see, love what it represents, where certain people hit it at a time in a match, and how it's called as well, and that's none other than the Brain Buster, the absolute coolest move for me. To see it done, the way people get into it, the impact that it hits with, the force. Oh, I love it. And especially to hear a good call too, to hear a good announcer yelling it. I think the Brain Buster is just perfectly named and well done. And I love the photographer too, Brain Buster. There's a little aided love to the name of the move. And the closest thing that I remember experiencing in the ring wasn't necessarily Brain Buster, but from the crowd during a match that you were in, Doc. I heard someone from the crowd, a little kid, yell, "Muscle Buster!" And it was, again, it hit me with that same impact as someone yelling Brain Buster. It was
I would have been that little kid there had it been reversed. Love that call.
Oh, it's just so good. Yeah, those are a couple of aptly named moves that I absolutely love. And I love hearing someone yell it from the crowd, especially, when it's hit. It's not like yelling Freebird, They're not going to hit it because you're saying it. But once it gets hit, now you can go ahead and yell what you just saw. And then also the spin and toe hold, because it's exactly what the name implies.
Fair.
If I were to have a finisher, it would be the spinning toe hold. Maybe a Brain Buster into a spinning toe hold. However, I'm not about to open the door on a Brain Buster. No. But a spinning toe hold, yeah. If anyone crosses the ref and I've got to use self-defense, I'll take it down and grab that toe.
Watch your lower appendages out there.
Yeah, Joey, your super kick's about to get countered with a toe.
Mm-hmm.
So many ways to get into it.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yep, and well versed in it. So be careful. We know self-defense.
Yeah.
Don't pick up that toe.
All right. Yeah. This is just one of those things I wanted to shout out to, like, the announcers out there. Especially at Zello. He always comes up and is always asking the names of our moves, and I really appreciate that, because it doesn't matter if we name them if nobody ever calls them that, and that's usually going to be the announcer first. So shout out to y'all guys. And with that said, I think we can move on to our penultimate segment and talk about what we got coming up this week. We had a very loaded weekend this past week, and I believe most of us have a very loaded weekend coming up this week. Friday, me and Zach will be in Watertown for Brew City Wrestling. Very excited. Don't know who we're going up against, but you can bet your mama's favorite will do the damn thing and come up with that big W. Everybody's off the top. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I know who we're going up against.
Oh, you do? Oh.
Yeah, it'll be, of course, your mama's favorite tag team, giving ICW a little preview, because we're taking on the luxurious ones. And not only are we going to get this W this Friday and prove to them and give them something to worry about, because in 2 weeks when we get that W, the luxurious ones are no more.
Oh, I guess you haven't looked at the updated card for ICW.
What happened?
Well, that's a next week thing, so we'll talk about that after we hang up.
I know Friday we're wrestling the luxurious ones.
Yeah. So Friday, yes, it'll be your mama's favorite tag team versus those Rose Dynasty bitches, the luxurious ones. And then on Saturday, it will be a first ever singles match when one half of your mama's favorite tag team, the greatest heavyweight of all time, the Gahoot, Doc Simmons, takes on the unholy one, Sean Priest, at One Fall Entertainment. Very excited for this one. I think I've only wrestled Priest twice, and that was in tag matches. I expect this one to be a banger. You know, I love wrestling them big boys. So come check it out. I know the crowds have been hot for One Fall. It's been a while for me to get there, and I'm going to be very happy to be there on Saturday. Who you got on Saturday, Zach?
I'm actually going to be doing, I'll get to see Ethan twice, because Saturday at One Fall Entertainment, it's the marvelous Ethan Matthews versus the outlaw Zach Hendricks, managed by the vivacious one, Val Malone. It'll be me and Val giving Ethan a little taste of his own medicine.
He well deserves it. It's a sick boy.
I guess we'll pass it along to Gunner. Gunner, what do you got this weekend?
I have on Friday BCW also, Battle at the Bar in Watertown. No clue what I'm doing yet, who I'm going up against, but be fun to throw down and have a few brewskis afterwards. And then I think that's about it. Saturday, I'm going to a Brewer game, non-wrestling related, but I'm doing that.
There might be a riot.
Maybe. You'll have to tune into the Brewer game and find out.
Hold on. Before we go to like the next thing, you didn't recap something you did last weekend. You hyped up this birthday party. I want to hear about it. I'm so sorry.
My bad. So yeah, last weekend before the BCW show during the afternoon, I went to a birthday party. Shout out to Cameron. He turned 6 years old. It was his golden birthday. Basically just kind of went there, jumped on a trampoline with some kids, went in the bounce house. That was all right. Kid was super excited to see me. He's going around telling everyone, like, that's my favorite wrestler. And he also said, that is the strongest wrestler. So just let it be known, I am the strongest wrestler in the history of all wrestlers.
A 6-year-old said it, so you know it's true.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I think he was the only one that like really liked me though. The rest were kind of scared. I think they didn't really know who I was. It's a creepy dude in face paint, which can't blame him.
Like, well, I mean, I guess you could say the parents are raising those kids right. That is a appropriate response.
Stranger danger.
Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna get to mad when we call it face paint. I'm gonna pull out this podcast, but you call it face paint.
As long as it's not makeup, preferably war paint, sometimes face paint, but never makeup. Never.
Debatable.
But yeah, Cameron had a good time. I had a good time, and gave me some extra motivation to beat the crap out of Chucky later that night. So shout out to Cameron.
Did you get mad when you took the cake?
No, I was nice.
That is good.
I wanted just to eat everything in sight, but couldn't do it.
Boo.
I know. Sometimes got to reserve the right energy for the things that matter. And that day was destroying Chucky. So I got all my good, nice little feelings out of the way. And later that night, was focused on business. And Chucky got the business.
Good. All right. Head referee, what you got this weekend?
We got BCW in Watertown. That's going to be a fun one. Close to home. Wonder if we'll have some family and friends and some good people there. That'd be a good down to home show. And then Saturday on Twitch, streaming AAW Alive. I'll be in a 6-man tag match. It's going to be off the chains. Lots of different people, different styles, a wide variety in this one. So tune in on Twitch. I think it's on at 7:30 maybe 705 on Twitch. Check out the social medias. They've all got it.
Nice. All right, yeah. So check out all the homies this weekend. Lots of ways you can do it. Either make the trip on to Watertown or sit at home and watch Perch on Twitch on Saturday. No excuse to not see your mama's favorite podcast, the Take It Home podcast.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. And let's go ahead and move into our last segment. If Gunnar has a question to pose for the group.
I actually texted Gunner and told him I want to take this one.
Yep, I do not have a question. I handed it off to Zach, who I'm sure has a brilliant question.
Yes. Go ahead, Zach. Then.
I have a question. What are your top 3 wrestling theme songs that anytime you hear it, you get really pumped, like super motivated? Like when you hear, if you're at the gym or whatever, it just always brings something good to the heart. And I can start off if you guys want.
Yeah, go ahead. I got to think about my third one. I know what my first 2 are.
So number 1 is Edge old theme song, "Never Gonna Stop Me." I love it. Right when I hear it, I always get super pumped about it. It's a banger. One of my favorites. Number 2 is the old Dudley song, "Drop the Bombshell." Another banger. Always puts me in a good mood. Always love right when I hit it. If anytime I hear it, I like to throw up the 3D logo. And number 3 is Rob Van Dam's theme song from WWE. Always a great song to listen to. So those are my 3.
All right. I can go next. In no order is going to be Nakamura Rising Sun. Great one. Minoru Suzuki. I am probably going to butcher the pronunciation of this, but it's Kyo Nare. No idea what it means, but it just sounds like 70s superhero music, so I love it. And number 3, I think I'm gonna go with Booker T's WWE theme. Always love the beginning of that. So
Sucker.
yep. So
Great theme. That one's been in my head all day today too. With the fun.
yeah.
I can hear the pyro in all these songs too.
Yeah. So
And the little chicken sound and the
yeah. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot of weird noises in that song, but I love it.
infamous. Let's think back to those Monday Night Raw days with that thing and the fireplace. Great song.
Yep. Great entrance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got 3 right off the bat. These ones come very quick, very easy for me. 3 bangers since they came out. I've loved them for wrestling. First one, The Game by Motorhead. Just one strum of that guitar, and I know exactly what it is and what we're about to hear. Some like baseball stadiums even play it. Miller Park, no, but Kansas City played it. I think Chicago maybe even played it too. It just gets a stadium rocking if you ever hear it. But I've heard it live for Triple H a couple times, and my God, it gets me going. Next one, Evolution by Motorhead. Another one, very similar. Right when that one came out, that song was so good with a little bit of the ticking clock in the beginning as the guys are walking from the helicopter. I always love that song just as well, just as much as The Game. And then the other one that's kind of along those same lines, Batista had that great song, I Walk Alone. Was it Saliva who sang that? They were good wrestling music right in that era, but his is always accompanied with doing that pyro right down.
Yeah, like another guy who had very good pyro setup.
Yeah, those
Like,
3 songs.
Freaking whatever freaking WWE video game I was playing, created character, had to have Batista's entrance for the pyro.
Yeah. Oh, I do that entrance just to get me hyped up on any given Thursday or a Wednesday.
like,
In fact, I do all those guys' entrances just to stretch most of the times.
You brought like not just the evolution, like it brought that honorable mention, like Randy Orton's old theme song was a banger.
Yeah.
That was
Mhm.
gonna be one of mine, you bastard.
Okay, well let's go to Gunner. All right, so you don't take
Oh.
it off the mention. Go ahead.
I'm not saying that one no more. There's plenty to choose from, so that's
Can I make
good.
you do homework?
All right, let's go to Gunner before we take any of his fire.
Speaking of fire, amazing transition, Doc. Number one is Kane. His song "Slow Chemical," banger.
Is that the one with the words to it?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
It's in my workout playlist to this day. Second, I'd probably have to go Metalingus Edge's theme song. That's killer. And third, it's tough because there's so many. Probably CM Punk's, not Cult of Personality, but the one he had before, This Fire Burns, I think it's called, or something. Kill Switch Engaged.
Yeah.
Yep. It's top 3. I could go on though.
Yeah, one
Man,
too.
I could too. How can you not say the Rock's theme song?
Yeah, I know that's the thing. It's like at first it was a pause of God dang, I don't think I know that many songs. And then wait a minute, I actually do.
My first favorite was Mr. Ass. That was my first ever favorite wrestling song. That was right at 98, 99. That one was so good. Macho Man's always caught me by surprise.
Yeah, I think Macho Man's was probably my
Graduation
first
song?
favorite. Yeah.
There's one Gunner told me about. It's old Triple H one. What's that Triple H song, Gunner?
My Time.
I think is it not My Time?
Maybe, I don't know, Gunner. Like I just remember you telling me about it, and I looked it up. But that's
I'll give Gunner a shout out right here. The organ version of the Undertaker theme.
Yes, very good. Very good.
I don't know what theme you had this weekend, Gunner, but your theme hit well when you hit that curtain. Forgot what it was, but that tune was a banger.
It's Slipknot. I can't think of the name of the song for some reason. It was actually like my old theme I used when I very first started, and then started teaming with Chucky there and started using a different new singles theme. But then since I've gone singles again, they've stuck with my very first theme. Not sure how I feel about it, but it still gets me pumped up, so it's okay.
Got me pumped.
Good.
Adam Cole's Ring of Honor song was a banger too, his old thing one.
Yeah.
Yeah, War Machine had a good one too, right in that era. Remember seeing them at Turner Hall and that War Machine entrance? I forgot what song it was, but just a good rockin' tune. One of the coolest atmospheres I've seen.
Marty Girls, the whoop whoop, like that one. Just being there live for that one was always cool to hear.
Yeah, one.
Do you guys know Stone Cold's theme song with the words in it? It's like by Disturbed, I think.
When he was bad.
Yeah, I love that song. So like in Spotify, they got like 50 different versions of Stone Cold's theme song, and they do not have that one. It's like there, but it's grayed out, and you can't like click on it. Maybe it's like some copyright issue or like some legal thing, I'm guessing.
That's usually a copyright issue.
Yeah, pisses me off because that's the best version, at least for like casual listening.
I'll complain to my friend who works there, see if he can do something, which he probably can't. But
I mean, you put in a word when we were having problems with the art department a long while ago, and we got stuff done. So yeah, I'm counting on you, Doc.
Yeah, I'll talk. It's usually does. All right. That was everybody's top 3. Anybody have anything else they want to get off their chest before we take it home?
Celebrate pro wrestling.
Yep. Yes. Celebrate pro wrestling for the Ref brand, all that. Hashtag outlaw, hashtag one man riot squad, hashtag goat. This has
Go.
been yeah. All right. This has been the Take It Home podcast. Y'all be easy. 1.